Hi everyone, it's Kim, and today I wanted to just a quick tutorial on how to set up a Lightbox through GetResponse into your Kalatu Premium blog. So first of all, you need to get into your GetResponse account. I'm on the dashboard, as you can see here, and I'm going to create a form. I would suggest at the same time, before you get started on this, that you actually have your dashboard for your Kalatu blog ready to go back into. So we'll start with the Get Response page, and we're going to create a new form. And when this loads, you'll see we have a list builder wizard. Well, underneath this, it's just loading up right now, and you'll see a whole bunch of templates. So many to choose from. You've got all kinds. You can do, here I look, smart tips, newsletters, all kinds of stuff. And in fact, GetResponse does a great tutorial too on more information on how to do those individually, and how to do all your changing all your settings and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to go for a very basic one today, just for purposes of this tutorial. So let's just take this one here. Let's use this blank one for the time being. And as it loads up, yes, we'll watch the monster. Right, type your headline here. Now this you can see it's not very clear really, but you can see that in the middle of the page here is what the Lightbox will look like. But you can change any of this information as you want to. Here it says type your headline here. So I'm just going to say, let's see, I'm going to say, well, it's going to let me, come on, let me change. It won't let me change. Type your headline here, right, sign, come on, alright, sign, there we go. Let's get rid of that, right, sign up for my newsletters. Okay. Then there's a box obviously that asking them for their email address, first name. There's all kinds of things that you can actually add to go into this box. If you look on the side, there's additional fields. You can adjust the you can adjust your text sizes and fonts and all that kind of stuff. You can be as complicated as you like, but we're going to keep it really simple because the idea today is to just get that Lightbox onto your blog. So we can then save. You'll see here there's a little settings button. Alright, this little settings wheel at the side. We're going to go into here and we need to name the form. Well, I'm going to name it blog pop-up. Whoops. Blog pop-up. Just for today. Choosing my campaign. Now we have to think, where do you want anybody that signs up on this form, where do you want to take them? Where do you want to what do you want to send them? I have an email list, a few email lists, as you can see. I'm going to choose this one for now. This is the campaign that they're going to go to when they actually sign up. So then you need to just confirm whether you want opt-ins or not. Now I have a default that it's left on for the time being, but I actually would recommend that you have it left off, because otherwise quite often if they have to opt in twice, then it quite often ends up being in their spam. Then you want to add on the cycle. I would definitely recommend clicking on this box because you want to get them in on whatever point in your email campaign. Just one message in this one right for now, but if you had more, you would see if I click the drop down, you would have a bunch of messages, and you could choose whichever day you want them to get started on. Then you need to sort out a thank you page, which I'm going to go back and show in just a second. And if they already have subscribed to your list, which sometimes people do, they'll come to your blog multiple times and they get a chance to sign up, they forget, so doesn't matter. You can say, right, well, they can just stay on the page. Capture allows if you want people to just put in the little digits that prove that they're not a robot. And then these other bits at tracking and stuff, that's a bit more complicated, so we'll go back to that another time. Let's keep it simple and save what we've got just there. And then we want to look at a thank you page, because once people have actually put their email address in, you really want to say thank you, because it's, you know, it's just good format. So then we get a thank you page. In this case, it just says well done. Again, you can change the text, you can change it to anything you want it to be. Let me see, is it going to allow me to do it here? There we go, look, we can get rid of that and say thank you. Okay, and then we'll just bring that box up here. Thank you, and just bring the box, there we go. Okay, so, and again, we need to just specify a few things using the settings wheel at the side here. Again, from the form name, which should be the same as the first page, same campaign, same messages. So here with your thank you page, now this is the bit where it's slightly different. You can actually choose for them to stay on the page, or you can go to the default, or you can actually make a custom page. You can actually put a link in here to take them to somewhere else, like a video or another capture page, or wherever else that you want to send them to. I'm just going to leave it on the default for now. Again, you've got your capture if you need it. So we're going to save that. All right. So once we've actually done all that, we're going to save and publish. You can choose the other options to save now or exit and come back later, but we're just going to move on and save and publish. Once it's done that, we come to the next page that says who will publish this web form. Well, there's a variety of options. We have on Calato have access obviously to our back office, and we have access to the HTML, which I know it scares a lot of people, but this is very straightforward, guys. You can choose to ask whoever, you know, someone else who's maybe dealing with a website. You can choose to have GetResponse host it, which will then they will just give you just a regular link. But in our case, because Calato is so simple, we're just going to copy this link here. We're using this copy button, and we are then going to go over to Calato. So go back to your dashboard on Calato, and we're going to go to the plugins. So click the big orange tab for plugins and find the Lightbox. Click on the Lightbox. Once we open up the Lightbox page, it's a little bit like starting a new blog or a new page on your blog. So we're going to add a new Lightbox. I've already got one in here, but I'm going to add another one just for purposes of this tutorial. When it opens up, it's a little bit like your blog page. You know, you've got your heading and all the other stuff in here. I'm just going to put it back on the visual for the moment. Right, we're going to name this Lightbox. And this is just an internal name. Nobody else is going to see it. It's just for you. So I'm just going to say Kim's blog pop up. Okay. And then remember that link that we copied back over here. We're going to use that. But we must hit the text button because we need to do it in HTML. This is a mistake I made the first time I did this. So then just hit paste. I'm using Control V because I'm just on a regular PC. And you can see it's all the mumbo jumbo stuff that you get in HTML. I'm going to just then save the draft while I'm on the way down the page. We're not going to hit publish just yet because there are a couple of other options that you have before you actually hit the publish button. So we get down the page. Now we're looking at display settings. Well, we'll just leave that on automatic. Sorry, my screen's jumping around here. So there we are, targeting conditions. Now you can, the pop-up you want is, I would recommend that you would do it as on exit. And you really want it on the entire site. Personally, if it's the first time you're doing this, I would recommend that you just apply it to the entire site. But you can see here, you do have other options. You can be more specific on where you want it, and of course, it depends what the purposes of the Lightbox are for you. If you've got other options that you're going to be giving, but again, in the first instance, and for the simplest tutorial here, I would suggest you use the entire site. And then when you have the opening settings, again, as I mentioned, the exit time is probably the most crucial. You don't want people to leave without giving you some information, so there you go. But you can also, by checking on the second box here, you can actually have a delay before the Lightbox opens. So for example, when someone's been on your page, you can count a number of seconds or whatever. It'll just give you, here we are, they can be on your page for like 10 seconds or something, and then the box could appear. But of course you don't know how long people are going to stay on your page or want to stay on your page, and to be honest, you don't want to push them away any sooner than they want to go. So I personally would suggest don't bother to check that box. Just leave the one on exit. So those are the options we have in Kalatu. So that's pretty simple. So I'm just going to go back and save draft again so that I know that I've actually saved all my settings, because we all know that sometimes Kalatu can be a little bit fickle, and when you hit publish, sometimes it has a way of saying no, I'm not going to do that. But now I've saved my draft, I know everything's there, so I'm just now going to hit the publish button. And as it goes to publish, I think it has, yes, it has published. So all we need to do now is go back and check. So I am going to go back and onto my website, and here we are on the website. I'm just going to, for example, play around a little bit, look at my last blog, and as I come to exit, bam, it's there, it's coming. Obviously things are still loading up, but as you can see, here's one I made earlier, but there you go. That's how you do a Lightbox. And once you've entered all your information in there, you hit sign me up, and then the thank you page will appear. So pretty much that is it, guys. So I would like to challenge you, get out there and just do it. And I will catch you on the next video. Good luck. Bye for now.